Howdy, my darling Aquarius. My name is SimplyVelca, and we're going to be getting into your weekly tarot reading today, Aquarius, for January 2023. All right, we're going to be talking about some general tarot messages for you, what's manifesting for you, what's going on in your current life today, Aquarius. And then we're also going to be doing a relationship social tarot reading for you. All right, this could be romantic, platonic, what have you. And then we're going to end your tarot reading today, Aquarius, with messages from your spiritual team, your spirit guide, your ancestors, so on and so forth. All right, with some with an oracle reading rather. So if that's of interest to you, then darling, keep on watching, Aquarius. Alrighty, Aquarius. So I'm looking at your cards right now, and I see that you are emerging victorious, darling. All right, you have been dealing with quite a bit here, and you still choose to keep on pushing through here. Especially, I feel like you've been dealing with a lot of internal stuff. You know, maybe you've been suffering with some, like, I don't want to say suffering from like a mental issue here, but you're definitely, like, it definitely hasn't been easy for you. But I also feel like no one has really been privy to this. I feel like it's very much so internal for you, Aquarius. But I'm really excited about your social reading there. Looking at that row there, like, it's looking really fabulous. But before we get into any of that, Aquarius, let's get into the back of the deck energy for you, what you don't see coming, which is the Seven of Pentacles, darling. All right, so what you don't see coming here, Aquarius, is that there's something that you have already planted, some seed that you have planted in your life. This could be in relation to like a project, but this also could be in relation, Aquarius, to some type of person in your life. There's something that you already had put some energy to. There's something that you already have invested into. I also even get you if you are spiritually practicing at some recent point in time in the last, like, I would say like the last 6 months, Aquarius, you have done some type of ritual manifestation, something to try to bring this into your life. And then I feel like it's kind of like, you know, just due to just life circumstances and you just existing in life, it's kind of like went into like the back of your head, like you haven't thought about it in a little bit here. And I feel like it's going to be sprouting out here in the coming days. All right, so I'm continuously taking it from the back of the deck, Aquarius, if you're curious about where I'm getting these cards from. You have the Death card, the Hermit, and then the Magician coming in here. So this is like this is really interesting, Aquarius, because this is like unexpected manifestations, but it's very much so, it's, you know what this is, Aquarius? This makes me think of like someone who did a bunch of ordering on like online somewhere, like you ordered off of Amazon, Aquarius. I have an itchy nose, honey. Like you ordered off of a store, Aquarius, and what it is that you ordered, like you really, really wanted it. And then like it's taken like weeks or a long time for it to come to you, to the point where you forgot about it. And then like it comes knocking on your door and you're just like, oh my God, I forgot I ordered this here. And so it's really, really positive here, Aquarius. Like this is really much so like you're about to be receiving the fruits of your labor of something that you actively have been personally in the process of creating yourself here. The Magician card confirms this to me, Aquarius, where it's like, this is not just like some random miracle that happens. This is not something out of the blue. It feels out of the blue because you forgot about this, but you actively, you know, this really confirms it. Like you actively were putting energy into this. You really wanted something to grow from this, but the growing process took a little bit longer than what you anticipated here. All right, and so you completely forgot about it. You thought it was kind of like dead in the water here. And so I don't really feel like there's much of any other message to unpack there. It's a little bit harder for me to like go into specific detail about this, Aquarius, just because for one, it's a general tarot reading, but for two, like I feel like it's very individualistic to you personally. All right, because I don't necessarily get anything flashy from this. I feel like this is more so like, because I'm being shown like you're writing in your journal, like you're taking a note about this, where you're just like, this is like definitely like, I don't know, it's definitely very, very personal to you. Like it's something that no one else would really get, I feel. So I'm gonna leave it like that, Aquarius. Y'all already know that I don't try to make it a point to try to dissect and understand y'all's energy, Aquarius, because y'all always have so much going on, Aquarius, and it's just like y'all are so hard to decipher. I've said that throughout all the years I've been doing these general tarot readings, Aquarius, that y'all are my hardest to decipher all the energy. So continuing on with the general tarot reading here, we have the Seven and the King of Swords here, Aquarius, and then the Knight of Cups here. All right, the first thing that I get here, Aquarius, is where it's like there was like initial resistances. All right. So let's just say, for example, Aquarius, like you started out on you started a project, or you started connecting with somebody, perhaps like you started something. All right. And then there was something that really kept you from you connecting to whatever it is that you were working on here. Like there was some complications. And so like for you, I feel like you kind of just like gave up on it. I don't want to say gave up on it, but you're kind of like, you were presented with a wall, and instead of like banging your head against the brick wall, you kind of were just like, all right, it's not its time yet. I'm going to just continue being introspective and just, being the king of swords, essentially. Aquarius, right? Like you really were not really trying to force anything to happen. It's so interesting because I feel like this is very different from the back of the deck energy here. I might be wrong in that, Aquarius, and it might be all connected here, but I feel like it's two separate energies. This goes right back to what I was saying beforehand, Aquarius, where it's like y'all always have so much going on. And I'm rolling my eyes, but I always say, like, I really do enjoy reading y'all's tarot cards because it's never like the super vapid surface level readings. It's like y'all are always doing some type of experiment. Like I always feel like I'm like walking into crazy scientist doing a bunch of things at once here. But it's kind of like this similar format here, Aquarius, where it's just like you dealt with some resistances. Instead of forcing it to happen, you were just like, all right, it's not its time yet. I'm gonna just be a king of swords, whatever that means, And then the whatever that means, more so the sense where it's just like you weren't going to force it to happen. So instead of like trying to force it to happen, you kind of just stuck to like doing like personal stuff. Like maybe you started seeing a therapist. Maybe you started just working on yourself, really, ultimately, especially mentally. The Knight of Cups coming in here for you, Aquarius. This lets me know where it's just like you're about to be receiving a sign where it's just like the green light or the go ahead of like continuing on. So it's like you were presented a brick wall, you just took a step back, and you're just like, all right, I'm gonna work on myself. The Knight of Cups comes in into your life later on, and she's like, oh hey, Aquarius, surprise, surprise, this brick wall is down. There's a door. The door is open here. Now it's time for you to walk forward here. So it's very much so like you're waiting for the perfect timing, as corny as that sounds. So let's start clarifying all this. I'm going to start clarifying with the Knight of Cups here, which was the Temperance card, and then the Page of Cups here. So definitely I could see either this being socially or just in regards to some type of project in your life, Aquarius, right? Some new energy is about to be stepping forward here that you have been extremely patient on. And due to this Temperance energy, I feel like that was part of the reason why you were able to just take a step back and be like, all right, it's not its time yet, because it's like on some level, like again, you are like the mad scientist, Aquarius. It's like on some level you kind of knew like that Knight of Cups was going to come one way or another. You didn't know what it was going to look like, how it was going to look like, or when it was going to show up, but you knew it was going to come. So it's very like, I don't know, I always just think it's so cool to me, Aquarius, to like see y'all's sense of awareness of the world. Eight of Wands clarifying your Seven of Swords here. So we're getting into a little bit of a repetitive message, but as I always say, Aquarius, your tarot readings are the one place that you want repetitive messages, because it lets you know that there's the true connection being made, and we're not just saying a bunch of sporadic stuff and not really connecting, right? And so in this way here, Aquarius, it's like forward movement towards something that there was a lot of resistance. Now we have this Ten of Wands here, and I know a lot of people will normally read the Ten of Wands, Aquarius, as something as a negative, but I like to see the Ten of Wands sometimes, depending on how the other cards of the pieces of the puzzle are around the Ten of Wands. This can also represent you being out on a long journey, and like on this journey you gathered a bunch of materials. You went you went on a long journey, and on this journey you picked up a bunch of wands. And so the Ten of Wands in this way can represent you're getting close to the finish line after this long journey of bringing all this new stuff in. You're finally about to be bringing in this heavy load and being able to unpack it. And so it's something actually really positive here. So again, it's something that has been like really ramping up for you. And then clarifying this King of Swords, even though I don't think it's necessary. Eight of Cups coming in here, and Three of Wands. This leads me to believe where it's just like you had this understanding and realizing it just wasn't its time quite yet, but you also knew that at certain, like, you know what this is, Aquarius? It makes me think of where it's just like you realized it wasn't time for you to make a big move or big transition in your life. You were waiting for a very specific sign, and you're going to be receiving that specific sign, and that's what that Three of Wands really represents here. All right. And so it's like you were, again, like you always have just been very hyper aware, Aquarius, of like the timing on things and when it's the right time to make a move. So that's what I see for you on that, Aquarius. Let's get into your relationship tarot reading now. Your relationship spread being the Four of Swords, Knight of Wands here, and then the Hierophant. So Aquarius, usually my regulars know that I don't like talking about past energy, but I do feel like in this dynamic here, it's like you crossed paths with somebody. Like I feel like you crossed your path with somebody that I wouldn't say is necessarily immature, but it was like you connected with somebody and on some deep level you kind of knew that this connection wasn't going to really go anywhere until like several steps down the road. So like maybe a couple years down the road or a couple months down the road. I kind of feel like it's a little bit more long term, like a couple years, Aquarius. Whatever the case is, it's like you connected with somebody and you're just like, you know what? This person is meant to be part of my life. Hierophant energy. Right, the Hierophant can represent marriage, but you take away the marriage romantic aspect of it and just devoted energy. You're just like, all right, this person is meant to be part of my life, but I don't know if they're ready to be part of my life. I don't, and I think it's a both hand in hand thing. I don't think it was just the right timing yet for this person. And so I feel like for you, especially, you know what this is, Aquarius, especially with this Four of Swords here, this leads me to, I don't know, I don't get like a fight necessarily. But it was almost as if like when y'all first crossed paths, like you needed to heal and like you were dealing with your own stuff and you just needed to heal and just be to yourself, and similar to this person as well, where it's just like they had their own stuff. They had their own ish that they needed to tend to. But once you guys both handled your ish, then when you guys reconnect, it's going to be fabulous. And so I don't even feel like I need to pull clarifiers for this, Aquarius. I feel like the story kind of writes itself in that way. All right. Whoever this is, I feel like you're very hyper aware about who this person is. You might not know in specific who it is right now, Aquarius, because I feel like you kind of have that kind of sixth sense with a lot of people in your life. You kind of are very hyper aware about like who's going to be part of your life for a long time. And then it's just like you're keeping tabs. It's like you have a Rolodex of people being like, all right, this person I know I'm going to connect with at a later point in time, just not the right time yet. That's kind of that dynamic, Aquarius. So that's what I see in that, my darling. All right. So now let's get into your spirit guide ancestor reading, or ancestral or tarot or oracle reading rather, Aquarius. So I can leave you to the rest of you or your Thursday. All right. See what your spirit guides and your ancestors have to say, Aquarius, or just your spiritual team in general. You have the cat spirit, darling, number 4 in numerology, Aquarius. So write that number down. See what messages in numerology has for you for the number 4 in relation to this week here. Claiming your independence, Aquarius. It's kind of interesting to me because I always kind of associated you guys as being hyper independent just due to the fact of like always being misunderstood. 8 of Swords here with the Queen of Pentacles here. Claiming your independence in this dynamic, Aquarius, leads me to believe... This leads me to believe, Aquarius, where it's like you were really struggling with, how would I want to put this, Aquarius? I want to pull another card to get to like find a better voice for this here. But it's like, I feel like you were really struggling with the idea of feeling really good about a situation. And what I mean by this is like, let's just say that you're a painter, Aquarius. All right. We're going to use an analogy here because I really don't know how to like just put it into like simple words here. So use this analogy for how it fits in your life. But let's just say you're a painter. And on some level, Aquarius, like, you have a talent for painting, but it was almost like there's this sense of discomfort and like taking that, it's like taking like that hobby of painting and really allowing this to support you full time. Right? Because you struggled with how like your own potential and what have you. Like, it's like you struggled with the sense of being like you are an actually talented artist. While it's like you have evidence showcasing where it's like people are willing to pay for your talent, there's still a part of you that really struggled with this identity of being like, you know what? It's like you always told yourself you're not ready to like take the full on leap of faith and just allowing that your art to support you. That's really what I feel this is, Aquarius. So whatever this is, whether it's an art or what have you, I feel like for you, it's kind of like long overdue for you to just acknowledge what is already there. That's what I struggle with kind of saying this, because it's like I feel like you already are actively doing this, but it's like you're really afraid of like fully going all in kind of like how I would associate this with being like a tarot reader. Like for a long time, for many years before I did YouTube and all this, like I really was in denial about my gift of doing tarot readings. So for a long time, I was really afraid of just like having my tarot readings, having my art, having my talent be the main support system for me to take care of me. Right. And I feel like that's similar to your story. Your moon oracle card is the last quarter moon in Libra, making time for self-love. Now, Aquarius, I'm not going to get into a long corny message about it. Right. You know, self-love is such an I don't want to say it's an overused subject to talk about, but it is like, you can't just have someone tell you, oh, practice self-love. Like it doesn't work like that. For you, Aquarius, I feel like it's more so making time for self-love and giving yourself more so appreciation for what it is that you do. If I was an Aquarius and I saw this, this would be me taking a step back and be like, you know what, Velka, you actually make a really big difference in people's lives when it comes to tarot readings, right? And so it's like me practicing that self-love for myself, but it's like, the way that I give that self-love is by appreciating what it is that I actually do and not downplaying it. And I feel like it's kind of like your story as well, Aquarius, all right? In its own weird way. So, that's what I have for you, Aquarius. Hopefully something in here resonated. Just like usual, your tarot readings are always the most complex for me to unpack, but it always is the most fun and keeps me on my toes. So I love you so much, Aquarius, and I hope I can connect to you sometime in the near future. Bye, darling.